Hello there guys, Elita Legionarii here, and today I'm bringing you an update for the historical battles recreation series. And today I'm actually joined by Swedes in the update, so welcome aboard, Swedes.
Hello guys, Sweets here.
Right. So yeah, you're probably a little tired of these updates, but a few things developed earlier on today, didn't they, Swedes, that we probably should actually let you guys know about. We thought it best to set some dates, because we were playing this whole thing by ear kind of a bit at first, but we had a few of the guys who were interested on this morning. Who did we have? We had Paladin Bob,
Emperor of the Great Unknown, Bob too,
and we had Pixelated Apollo, and we had someone else too. Who did we have? I'm sure we had someone. Or was it? No, that must have just been you and. I think it was just you and me with them three, wasn't it?
yeah, I think so.
I thought I could have sworn there was another.
I was kind of tired.
Yeah. But yeah, we were discussing when to do the Siege of Acre, and we basically encountered that we couldn't make a time because everyone was so busy. We'd say a date, we'd say a time, and that person would go, "No, I'm too busy then," and or I'll be asleep then, or whatever. So what we're gonna do is essentially we'll do the battle or Siege of Acre on Saturday, wasn't it? It was Saturday, right?
Yeah, Saturday for us, Sunday for you.
Yes. Yeah, because
Sounds weird.
Well, yeah. It's just New Zealand's like pretty much the country that's ahead of everyone else in the world. So by default, I'm ahead of everyone, really. So for me, that's like if you're in the New Zealand Australia region, if you're actually in New Zealand, it's like 11 p.m. Saturday night, or basically kind of like to 1 a.m. kind of time, early Sunday morning, because we're going to do it on the weekend, because by doing it on the weekend, I think it just makes there's more availability for people, because most people are more free on the weekend, so I think that allows us to kind of accommodate more people that way. So if you're in New Zealand like me, which is probably not very many of you, because not many people I encounter from New Zealand, that's really late, like 11 p.m. on Saturday evening, midnight, 1 a.m. on a Sunday morning. It's really quite late, but I don't have anything to do that night, so I can be up as late as I pretty much need to be. But you're from Europe, or Sweden is from the Europe region, so what time will that be for you in Sweden? Just to go on.
I think it's... I actually don't know, but I think it's like afternoon or something like that. Maybe 1 p.m. or something. Not really sure. I don't have this site on my screen right now, because otherwise I would, be able to find out. But I'm too lazy to do that right now. But I think Bob mentioned something about, I think it was like what? Afternoon, 1 to 2 p.m., something like that. No, 11 actually. 11
yeah.
p.m.
11 a.m. don't you mean?
No, is it p.m.? But I could be wrong.
No, it's
a.m.
It's a.m. because I think, well, I mean, you're roughly about 11 sort of hours from me, right, you guys? And all the European nations are all fairly close to one another, so they're only a few hours from each other. So I think it's kind of anywhere for European nations would be in the proximity of probably from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on a Saturday for you guys. So that's pretty good for Europe. That's pretty good for Europe, really. You guys have got it right dead smack round late morning to early afternoon, I think, was probably the time. I always get the time zones mixed up. I'm pretty sure that's what Bob said. He can clarify that in the comments section. But yeah, I'm not sure what that's for our American viewers. That would be early morning for them, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be like 7 a.m. or something? Quite early in the morning for the American viewers. I'm not sure.
I think so, because yeah, go on.
Yeah, I think they're like 5 or 6 hours ahead of Europe. I mean, behind Europe, aren't they? Or have I got that wrong?
I think so. I'm not really sure. I think we're a few hours ahead of them. That's for sure.
Well, I'll just actually, I'm on the internet here, so what I could do is just put in some...
Oh, good, great.
I think, because we get ourselves trapped.
Yeah.
I'll just put like time in United States or something.
Yeah.
Here we go. So it's currently now like 3:46 a.m. and most of them are in the I'm sure you guys can work your times out. So just depends on like locations. You know, like Los Angeles, Denver, Chicago, whatever. I think you're all quite a significant amount of time behind me, anyway. They are... Well, we're both on Tuesday, so it appears... they are... they're quite a significant amount of time behind my New Zealand time. Most of them, they're in well over 12 hours behind me. They're about 15 hours behind me. So if we want to work that out... if I do that at 11 p.m. my time or 12 midnight my time, basically you want to go anywhere between probably 15 to 18 hours back, I think, with the United States of America. So you're probably going to be pretty early morning for American people doing this. I think Europe gets the best deal here, to be honest. Typical.
Yeah.
So I think
lucky us.
I think your European guys are going to get like 10 a.m. sort of 2 p.m. somewhere in there. Depends on your nation. But just kind of guesswork here. I'm not particularly good at all this time zone stuff. There's so many, and we encountered a lot of issues about this earlier on when we were trying to coordinate this all. So we're definitely setting the date though, guys. Saturday for you, Sunday for me. So if you're like in Australia, it's probably going to be like 9 p.m, 8 p.m, something like that. And so I think pretty good for those nations too, because they'll just be late evening to afternoon. Well, you guys in Europe will be more lunchtime, and you guys in the United States and that kind of area will be quite early morning. So if you're in America, you're probably going to have to get up early. So I hope that's not too much of a problem on a Saturday morning for you guys. I mean, who doesn't like sleeping in on a Saturday morning?
Yeah, true.
But so I think that's how we're going to do it. And I think we should probably work all these historical battles into that same time slot if possible, just to know when everything's happening. Yeah. So in the future, guys, unless something very specific happens, that will be the time slot. It will be late evening for me in New Zealand, midday-ish region for the European nations, and early morning for United States kind of areas. And you can kind of work your own time zones into that. So we just kind of wanted to let you know that. And do we have anything else to add? Did you have any ideas for upcoming battles or anything like that?
Well, I was just gonna say that if you're unsure or if you forgot the time and you happen to see me online, like on Thursday or Friday, you can always ask me when will the battle start, and I will basically tell you how many hours will start, stuff like that. So, if you happen to have me on your Steam's friend list, so
yeah,
don't worry. Oh yeah, same with you. Same with Elita Legionarii. So I don't think there should be. I don't think there would be any problems at all.
No, I shouldn't think so. Also, I suppose I could put this out now, seeing as this is probably the final update for Acre. Hopefully, I don't want to have to make any more of these for this one video that we're going to do. What historical battles would the viewers like us to do? We'll try and do as many total wars as possible, I suppose. You mentioned to me the other day, Swedes, about you would like to do some of the wars between the Byzantines and the Turks, and automatically the Battle of Manasgurt comes to mind, which is a pretty massive scenario between those two. So that could be our next Medieval 2 project. I know the Emperor of the Unknown. I just gave him a few battle ideas few days ago, and he's already made scenarios for the Battle of Marathon between the Greeks and the Persians, and we're going to use Rome Total War for that. So we thought about doing that next, and he's also made the Battle of Tanneberg between the Teutonic Order and the Polish-Lithuania alliance. So we'll use the Teutonic expansion for that. So we've already got scenarios for those two. But if you guys have a particular battle you'd like us to do, bear in mind we can use Napoleon Total War and Rome 2 as well, and the Empire Total War, although I'm pretty crap on the Empire Total War if I'm honest. I don't think we're really too bothered about doing ones from the Shogun period, to be honest. You're not particularly interested in the Shogun period, are you? And I'll to be honest, it's not my favourite historical period, and I'm not very good at that game, so we probably won't do battles from that period. But I mean, if there was enough people wanting us to do battles from that period, we maybe could do one or two, but preferably it'd be mostly the kind of Greek, Roman, sort of that ancient period, and kind of the medieval period mostly, maybe some Dark Age stuff, and maybe a bit of Empire Napoleon. You reckon that's pretty much where we should keep the battles at, unless you have something else in mind? What do you reckon?
No, I think we should just basically upload historical battles that you can play on Rome 2, Medieval 2, and all that stuff, with the exception of Shogun 2, because I'm not a big fan of the Shogun series at all. It's not that I don't like it; it's just I can't really get into that game and the timeline. And I suppose if people really want to see it, fine by me. I don't mind it. It's just not something I'm really into.
Yeah, I mean,
Rome 1, Rome 2, Medieval 2, Empire Napoleon. That's fine by me.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, guys, actually, it'd be great if you guys just left some battles you'd like us to do from those periods. It's a pretty humongous period for you guys to work in. That's thousands of years of history, hundreds of battles. Just leave comments down below. And I mean, you could even leave them on comments on me and Swede's other videos. We'd be interested. I think the way we'll work it is I think we should take turns. Like we'll aim to do one a week, because it does take quite a bit of organising these things. So it's probably one per week on the weekend. On that day that we said, Saturday for most people, Sunday for some people, and and we'll aim to do I think one like per week. So we'll do Siege of Acre this coming Saturday, Sunday, depending on where you are in the world, of course. And then after that, we'll probably do Marathon, or maybe another Roman period or Greek period, that kind of ancient world period, kind of 500 AD and before that, I guess, probably would go there. And then the week after that, we might come back to Medieval 2, or if you guys want us to go to Napoleon or something. It's entirely, we'll play it by most what you guys think, because I kind of want to cover do as many periods as possible. I think it'd be quite epic, quite a lot of fun. Yeah. And I'd like to do that. It's kind of tricky with the Rome Total War and Rome 2, because Rome 2 kind of allows you to very accurately create them, because there's quite a significant unit roster selection in Rome 2, which would enable you to represent battles a lot more accurately, I think, than Rome 1. But I know that Emperor the Unknown doesn't know how to edit Rome 2, so he can kind of create the scenarios for us, but he can only do that on Rome 1 and Med 2. But I think Rome 2 gives us an ability to kind of very accurately create the scenario with units and stuff. And you can also select the sort of terrain as well quite a bit on Rome 2. So in some ways, I think I'll do a bit of a mixture. Well, I think we should do a bit of a mixture for those kind of Roman and Greek period battles and so on from that kind of period. You reckon? Sort of a mixture of Rome 1 and Rome 2. Because certain battles I think can be done better on Rome 2 than Rome 1 and vice versa. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. But I also think it has to do with the game mechanics. Personally, I prefer Rome 1, just the way how it plays.
Yeah, same.
Rome 2 just looks really gorgeous. It's like eye candy, So I don't know.
I mean,
for me, it doesn't really matter whether
I'm
it be
not.
Rome 1 or Rome 2.
Yeah, I'm not particularly bothered either. I kind of like to do a bit of both. I think because it just adds more total war to the whole thing, which I think is a really cool idea. And I think that'll be quite useful.
Also,
yeah, go on. No, go on. What were you gonna say?
I just like to point out that there might be a bit of a problem with Dark Ages, like for example the Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion, because it happens that when you play multiplayer battles, quite often actually, that the battle actually gets desynced, and it kind of ruins the whole replay, stuff like that. So we have, I think, if people have suggestions about battles that took place during that time period, I think we need to find some sort of like solution to fix that kind of issue, because otherwise,
It's
we
true.
won't get that full experience.
Yeah, that's a bit of a shame. I forgot about that because it happens. But every time I try and play a Barbarian Invasion, it desyncs on me. I don't really know how to fix that, but if anyone's got any idea how to fix that, I'd very much appreciate leaving a comment on that. It's a bit unfortunate because some really great battles we could do, like kind of like the Huns and the Sassanids and barbarians invading Rome and stuff, Eastern Roman Empire, Western Roman Empire, some really good stuff, early Byzantine Empire battles. That would be very, very fun to do that. So I'd like to find a fix for that actually, because those dark age, or not necessarily dark age, early, well they are kind of dark age I suppose, but kind of very, very late Roman Empire stage and sort of dark age, very early middle period stage. I was actually talking to, now you've reminded me of it, I was talking to Emperor of the Unknown the other day. He's made another scenario I forgot to mention, the Battle of Tours, or Poitiers, which is the very famous battle in France. The Frankish Crusaders managed to drive out the Islamic invaders that came up through like the Iberian Peninsula and into France, and essentially stopped that Islamic invasion into Europe, and that's at about 732 AD, I think. He was sort of saying it would be kind of perhaps maybe, but he wasn't certain if we should do it on Barbarian Invasion or Medieval 2, because it's kind of dead smack right between the two, if you know what I mean. Like it's some 300 odd years before Medieval 2, but it's probably a good 250 to 300 years after Barbarian Invasion. So it's kind of right smack in the centre of the two. And I'd said to him make the scenario on Medieval 2, and we'll just use the early period, because I think Medieval 2 kind of captures that Muslim Islamic kind of era much better, because it's not very well defined in Barbarian Invasion. It's more kind of sort of Sassanids and stuff, which is not quite, it's not, Islam's not really kind of...
You have the Berbers.
Yeah, but you do have the Berbers, but I don't know if the Berbers were actually Islamic at that stage. I mean, it was sort of coming in at that stage, but not quite. So I think Medieval 2 early period Medieval 2, and he's already created a scenario for that. But that is a very important battle historically. That's one of the most major battles in history for its impact. So I think it's important that we do that one. It'd be quite cool. So he's created a scenario for France versus the Moors. We're using the Moors as the representation because they make the most sense. Yeah. So, but it's all early period units there. But he's also edited some other interesting units in that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to use. So it's quite interesting. But yeah, you guys just leave us some comments on what battles you'd like to do historically, and we'll go from there, I think. Do you have anything else to add, Swedes? Anything at all? I can't think of anything.
Not really. No, not really. Other than, thank you guys for watching. See you guys later and take care.
Yeah, exactly what Swede said. Before you go, guys, I do realise I put several updates out in the last few days, and as a result you've missed out on some battles. So what I've actually done with this video is I've linked a couple of battles I'd already pre-recorded that I was going to upload as normal uploads, but I've actually linked them into this video so that you guys can have a couple of battles to watch as well. So hopefully you enjoy those. Hey there guys, Elita Legionarii here, and today I'm bringing you a 3 vs 3 31k for Rome Total War. It's been a wee while since I brought you one because I've been busy kind of making those updates for that historical reenactment series I'm in the process of doing. and various other bits and pieces, and I haven't been playing as much 31k of late. I haven't been in the mood, to be honest. Doesn't mean I don't like 31k or anything like that, but sometimes I just go in moods, and when I don't feel like playing something, I usually play something else. But I enjoyed this particular battle, and it was a lot of fun. So I'm in command of the Senate. I have just a typical 14 urban, 6 Praetorians. My allies are Cleomenes of the Greek clan. He is in command of Macedon, and he's just got pikes. He's got 20 raw pikemen, probably with a mixture of gold and maybe some experience and that sort of thing going on there. And then we have Beast from the Titans clan. He's got the Seleucid Empire. And I got to say, I like this build from him. 6 cataphracts, and he's got Silver Shield Legionnaires. And I personally actually find sometimes that the Silver Shield Legionnaires are more useful to use than the Silver Shield Pikemen, just because everyone always anticipates Silver Shield Pikemen, and I've taken to using Silver Shield Legionnaires, much like Beast does, because it allows you to negate their archers very effectively, and you can just play very defensively with this Tudo, and it works very well. But you've got to form it up properly and all that kind of thing. But sometimes I usually bring maybe 1 or 2 pikemen just to work it in, just to stop cavalry, because obviously you're very vulnerable to a cavalry strike if you bring the Silver Shield Legionnaires, because they can't stand up to the cavalry hits like urban cohorts can. As you know, with enough cavalry hits, even urban cohorts are out pretty quickly, so Silver Shield Legionnaires are very vulnerable. So I imagine that these cataphracts are probably near enough to maxed out on Beast's part, and then looks like they're gold, these Legionnaires, which he's got 14 of. And I quite like the formation too, actually. It's a rather nice formation for them. As you can see, Cleo's gone with an interesting formation here. He's gone with a whole, I think it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6 rows of pikes here, and about 3 men each row. What Cleo's going to do is he's just going to use his pikes to block out everyone, basically. And I'm just going to stick close to Cleo and support him with my urbans, and me and Beast will be pretty aggressive with our cavalry and try and exploit that somewhere and get the edge. Beast will stall and hold as much as he can on his side, and the overwhelming numbers of pikes and urbans on our side should do a breakthrough. That's generally what we're going for here. I wouldn't be very confident in this strategy with a lot of players, but with Cleo and Beast I am, because these two are excellent players. They're far better than me, and I'm confident that we can pull it off. So our opponents are Racer X, the Brotherhood clan. Interesting formation he's got going on here. I've never seen that kind of formation from him before. Looks like he's got 3 Praetorian Cav, 2 Archer Auxilia, and the rest are urban cohorts. Then we have Gladius of the Brotherhood clan. He's got, looks like, 6 Praetorian Cav, and the rest are urbans. And he's the Brutii. The Brutii is Racer X. He's the Scipii for Gladius, and the Julii under the command of Tut from the IBEROS clan. Looks like he's got 5 Praetorians, 3 Archer Auxilia, and the rest are urban cohorts. So yeah, this is what's kind of good about what Beast has done here. They've brought between them 5 archers. That's 5 archers. So that basically means they've reduced their numbers of either cavalry or infantry all round. And the archers, can certainly still be useful. Will not be as useful as they were thinking, because they would have expected Silver Shield Pikemen. So as you can see, Cleo's moving up, and I'm sticking right on his flank here and just sticking with him. They've got a cavalry edge, although not a massive one, but we do have an infantry edge. However, they have more powerful infantry all around, but we do have a lot of infantry. So I need to play support here. I've got the strongest infantry on my team. Now we had to be careful not to go too far ahead of Beast here, because the Seleucids don't possess the same kind of stamina as our guys, particularly me. Macedon's not got a whole lot more stamina, but Rome certainly does. So I don't want to be going too far ahead, because the Seleucids are tired and get exhausted, or somewhat tired and winded before the battle begins. They won't hold out all that long, and the Seleucids certainly are the weak point as far as infantry goes. But the cavalry is obviously very good. and if we use it right, we're pretty much in good hands. So I mean, with all these Macedonian pikes, a lot of them, and they're well upgraded ones, as you can see. It's going to allow us to hold out these urbans for a very long time with this many pikes, with this many upgrades, and supported by my urbans. We should be able to hold these urbans out for a very long time and actually do quite a bit of damage to them, and hopefully gain a cavalry edge and then go from there. So that's the basic plan. So now that Beast is in position, Cleo will move up, and I will move with him, sticking with him constantly because he will need my urbans to support him. They're taking a more defensive approach, which doesn't surprise me. Two of the members are Brotherhood members, and Brotherhood members usually start off defensively and then counter, usually. However, Cleo, Beast, and myself are reasonably, definitely Cleo and Beast are definitely very familiar with the Brotherhood tactics. I'm fairly familiar with most of their tactics now. I find they play a more passive role, waiting out and then counteracting. So I find if you take kind of the fight, command of the initiative of the fight very quickly on the Brotherhood, you can take advantage of them before they have time to go and get the counter. But they do have a lot of very experienced players and a lot of experience with one another, so it's not always easy to do that with them, but if you can do it with them, they can be reasonably easy to predict, I find, in my experience. Personally, I find battles I do against like the Titans clan and the Greek clan to be more difficult, simply because they are more sort of diverse, I guess, in their style. But I certainly never go and underestimate the Brotherhood. They are a very good clan. So I'm moving up here, taking a few hits from Toots, guys, and he's got his archers firing at me. What I'm trying to do is get him to throw as much Pila as possible at this first unit, which he's doing. So I'm going to throw more of my second unit into this unit here. But as you can see, he's thrown, I think, Pila out of 3 or 4 units, which is great because he's destroyed my first unit here, but he's going to waste more Pila than me. So I'm always consciously trying to get the best out of a Pila duel. I must admit my micro was quite crap in this fight, I felt, at least at the start of it. And that's to be expected because I hadn't actually played much Total War for an entire week, or at least Rome Total War. And that might not seem like a very long time, but for me that honestly is a long time. I need to be playing fairly consistently, otherwise I do not play at my best with micro. It's kind of annoying, but it's just the way it is with me. So Cleo moves up here. I think he's trying to get as much Pila out of Racer X as possible. If I were them, they would probably be best to focus heavily on the Seleucids, to be honest. Break that Seleucid infantry fairly rapidly. So here we see Tut moving back. He's bringing up just Tudos here to try and get me to waste Pila. I'm trying to manually control my Pila to hit units in the back through here, or that's what I'm going to try and do. I don't really like doing all the manual control with Pila because I usually make mistakes, because my micro doesn't always agree with my strategies, if you know what I mean. Over here I'm going to start getting attacked, so I'm going to go to loose formation to counter this. But as you can see, my guys actually pushed forward here because I told them to manually throw Pila, but I forgot to backspace them. As you can see, Cleo is now going to push up and be pretty aggressive on Racer X. He's got the amount of pikes that he can probably go toe to toe with these urbans, as long as I keep stuff out of his flank, which is all I need to do, which is all I'm trying to do. Not much happening on Beast's flank, he's just holding back. I took a few hits from the archers. But at the moment we're just going to let Cleo push forward and do his bit and just sort of grind them down with his sheer weight, and I will keep these urban cohorts out as much as I can. So yeah, I managed to rout some of these urbans here, and I managed to put a few more Pila down, and I'm going to try and destroy some of Toots guys here as much as possible. As you can see, my micro, I should have moved these guys in sooner to support Cleo. I was kind of slow at the start of this fight, which wasn't ideal, but I'm going to just keep my guys here, and I'm just going to let Cleo do his thing, to be honest, and Beast is going to take his sweet time over here. As you can see, just a little bit of Pila fighting, but not very much happening on his flank at the moment. So as you can see, more of these guys coming up against these raw pikemen, but the raw pikemen, there's so many of them, they're very well lined up, and he managed to get a lot of Racer X's Pila to get wasted, so he's going to do quite good at the moment. So here we see a quick cav strike coming through on me, which doesn't manage to get a rout, which is good. Cleo's actually going to reinforce me with some pikes here, which is fine. I'm not too bothered, but I'm going to try and reinforce him here. Probably a good idea that he is doing this, because it's just going to stop the cav charges, which is going to allow us to persist longer in the middle where we are winning, which is a good idea on his part. So yeah, I'm trying to bin some Pila in. He has done a much better job of this Pila over here than I have. As you can see, I've lost a lot of men. He has not. So very poorly executed on my part here. Here we can see Tut has brought in his cav to make a strike, but he's going to get that out of there before it hits those Cleo's pikemen. So yeah, I did not do a good job of my Pila on this side, and my cav is quite far back because of the archers. So I'm not doing a very good job myself. I wasn't very pleased with my performance in this early stage of this fight. So he comes through with an attack, but I get a counter charge, and Cleo's got his pikemen there, and then I bin some Pila in here as well. And that should enable us to get a wee bit of a turnaround. I've kept some cav in reserve here, and I'm going to push it through here and get a counter strike in on these guys while they came in. So I'm quickly going to disengage, and I'm going to pour in over here, and hopefully do a bit of damage to him and unleash a bit more Pila. And I'm going to quickly get out of this, because Cleo's pikes are nearby, so I don't need to rush all my own cav in here, because it's going to be damaging to me. But as you can see, my guys started routing there because they got some good charges in, and I've played very poorly at this stage of the fight, which is rather crappy on my part. But as you can see over here, supporting Cleo, and his pikes are doing a good job. Beast is just, as you can see, you can just Testudo here, and he's just holding these urbans up, which you can do very, very effectively. As you can see, Beast was going to try and slip into the side here against these guys that are pinned on the pikes, but he's got to get out of there. And these cav are here pushing forward, and Beast is going to push in with his guys here. I'm keeping my guys reserved because I see there are larger numbers of cav, and I want to be able to get a counter strike in if they go and try and get Beast. And he gets caught out, but he doesn't here. So yeah, we've managed to kind of stabilise it here. I see a weak unit here isolated, so I'm going to push through, just quickly route that so I can free up this unit to reinforce a little bit. As you can see, again, I think what Racer X should have done is push more aggressively on Beast over here, because there wasn't a lot happening, because these guys will hold him out for a long time. So yeah, at this stage, I keep my infantry reserved and just in behind and near Cleo, just to make sure he stays in this, because they've massed enormous numbers of cavalry on my side, so that's forced has forced Cleo to bring some pikes over to support me. But at this stage, he's put this unit of pikes over here to support Beast, because there's a lot of infantry finally coming over this way, and it will overwhelm Beast eventually. But I've intermingled my urbans with the Brutii at this stage, and I think sort of towards this stage of the fight I kind of finally started to actually speed my biker up a bit and actually get with it. I noticed all their cav was going this way, so I was thinking quickly get on the flank and try and kind of slice down the side here and rout these guys. At the very least, it would enable me to force some of this cavalry to come back and get away from Beast, just to take a bit of pressure off his Seleucids. Unfortunately, before I could take advantage of the fact that cavalry was all the way, I got a massive cav glitch, and I had to stop. And basically this alerted them and gave them time. While it took me time to organise these cav back into formation, it gave this group down here time to come back and get cav here, because if my guys had just gone straight into formation, I would have had time to come slicing right down the flank here, and I reckon I could have got probably a good 4 or 5 infantry and potentially that Julii general. Then I could have pulled my 2 remaining urbans in reserve, and I reckon I could have done that, because their cav was really far away, and it was really annoying, because by the time I get my cav organised and okay to strike again, you can see that their cav is very nearby. In the end, I decided not to do it, because I was about to make the strike, but then I saw their cav. Once I had coordinated everything, I was about to get myself into a better position, because I noticed that Cleo had gone further around, so I had to go further around myself. But in this scenario, I've noticed that that Racer X and Gladius have coordinated their cav, and I have to pull out of this, which was annoying because I reckon I definitely had the time there. Had I not glitched, I could have gone bam straight down there, and I reckon I would have got a very large number of their guys to rout because there was no cav nearby. I would have had a perfect side flank slice. I probably could have killed his general, and I could have pushed in my guys here and had Cleo with support. I reckon that would have worked, but because of that stupid glitch, I wasn't able to. Glitches can be very annoying because they can ruin very good opportunities in battle plans, or can alert your enemy to battle plans, and that's really annoying. Here we see Beast come running up through the centre here, getting some nice strikes in. He gets 1-2 routes here, but he probably wants to get out now because there's a lot of braced infantry here that will do a lot of damage to his cataphracts. So he's going in for the general's unit, and he does get some good routes here, but he wants to get out because they're now fixed and braced up on him, and that's not so good. I don't know if Cleo's guys got their pikes up fast enough, because I think Beast lost quite a lot of guys just then, cataphracts to those pikes, but I'm not entirely sure. So at this stage, I'm leaving my general units reserved, but I'm just plugging areas that were thin for Cleo, so that he'll be okay. But as you can see, Cleo's still got some reserves in places, and he's holding out quite well. So here we see Toots Cav coming in to try and slice the side of these guys here. But Cleo turns them round, and he's going to get these guys here, and then Beast is right there. So he lost quite a bit of cav there, and then Beast comes in with his guys with the cavalry, and I'm bringing my cavalry this way to help Beast, and we're going to try and smash this flank open. And we're trying to get these cav. I decided to stop at this stage and form up because I was thinking of slicing in over here, but then I noticed there was quite a lot of Scipii cav there. I see that Beast is okay doing this. I'm just trying to get my guys formed up into a place where I can get some strikes in. Here you can see their cav is coming around, but unfortunately over here, Racer X, I'm just going to pause this, he's got behind, so Cleo and I are going to try and reform some of our infantry just to block this out. But as you can see, they charge in here, going for Beast, but I come in from the flank. Beast has got very few guys left here, but that flank charge by my guys was good, and he's got a couple of cavalry units left, which I think he's going to put into support. So yeah, I got a really good side charge there, and that gave me the edge against Gladius's cavalry here. And then Beast is going to get in here, and of course the general started routing too, which helped, and then when this cataphract charge comes in, we get a substantial rout all on the Scipii, which is great because now we've smashed this flank open. At this stage, between my urbans and some of these pikes and a few of these legions that are here, this Brutii cav is not getting a breakthrough, and I'm going to push right around now, and so is Beast. We're going to go right around and we're going to smash through over here. But we've got some pretty hefty numbers through here anyway. I gotta say, I think Cleo did a fantastic job in this fight. I thought I played quite crap, to be honest. I was okay towards the end, but I played kind of rubbish at the start. But Cleo and Beast did a very good job, particularly Cleo with the infantry. He had his pikes on all the right places, and he was able to make use of them very well. So here we can see Beast going for the Brutii general, but I want to go through here. I see everything's pinned up, I see the cavalry's blocked out by Cleo's cav, and I want to come slicing down the side here. So I noticed some of the regrouped Scipii cav, so I quickly went to destroy that, but now I'm going to come in from down over here, and I think Beast is onto the same thing as me, because just a nice slice charge straight through here is going to rout everything. So I'm preparing to do that right now, so I'm going to go in straight away. I'm going to try and slice my way in at the moment, so coming in now, and Beast will come with me and come in through here as well, and we will rout everything. So his cataphracts came with me, and we managed to rout everything there, so it's pretty much the fight wrapped up, and it worked out rather nicely. It was kind of a tricky fight too, because we actually had a cav disadvantage, and we had more infantry, but we had weaker infantry all round. So that was, you know, I think kudos to to Greek Cleomenes. He did a very good job with those pikes. Make sure they were everywhere, supporting everybody's fight, keeping that cav from able to strike through anywhere, and we were able to get that cav edge even though we were at a cav disadvantage throughout that fight. I actually thought I played pretty poorly at the start. I got myself into a better place towards the end, and I ended up with the most kills, but I really think Beast and Cleo were more decisive in the team play than I was, particularly Cleo though, with his pike use. Very impressive. As you can see, only Racer X has got over the 1000 marker. He's got 1300. The other two close for Tut and not a great deal for Gladius there. If we look at the statistics, my infantry hasn't done a lot. It just plugged gaps and supported Cleo in places, but my cavalry has done well. I got some great slice charges into the sides of units, and I was able to get that really nice back charge with Beast Cataphract there. So my cavalry did a very large number of kills, and that was really, really good. So a great game to everyone. Of course, Beast has his channel. He was obviously copying the Greek clan there, Greek Seleucos, but that is definitely Beast. So I will link his channel in the description, so you guys can swing by and check that out when you feel like it. So I'm sure he'll appreciate that. An excellent 31k player, far more experienced than myself in the art of 31k. And a good commentator too. I like Beast's style. It's very informative, and it's very, it gives you a very all-round idea of a very professional 31k player who knows his way around a 31k battlefield very, very well. So you get a very in-depth perspective of 31k and the specific tactics, formations, and general kind of how to do 31k. He knows it very, very well. So I would highly recommend you check him out, guys. It is excellent commentary on 31k Rome Total War. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out Beast's channel, and I'll see you soon next time. Hey guys, Elita Legionarii here. Today I'll be bringing you a 2 vs 2 for Medieval 2 Total War. This was the battle I actually did with SwedishLandsknekt. He'll be in command of the Hungarians, and I'll be in the command of France. Our opponents were Telemnar, who had commanded England, and a Turkish player, which I cannot remember his name, but I'm sure it'll show it in a moment, so I'll be able to tell you. So this is the Black Forest map, if my memory serves me right. Actually, I think I might have my graphics settings down. Let's see, just the vegetation, that's fine. Yeah, my army consists of, I believe it was, it was 2 dismounted feudal. Okay, 4 dismounted feudal knights, 2 dismounted chivalric knights, then I had 2 chivalric knight cav, 2 noble knight cav, general's bodyguard, and I believe it was 3 units of pike militia. And it looks like the battle's actually started, so I'm just going to pause. Swede's army consists of or Croat axemen, probably just for shock value, or peasant, or cav charge absorption, anything like that. Then he's got 3 feudal knights, 4 dismounted chivalric knights. I would say he's got a couple of battlefield assassins, or at least a battle. Yeah, 2 of them back here, but they're kind of in stealth, so I can't really see them. Then he's got 2 hussars, a royal banderium, 2 chivalric knights, and a general's bodyguard. I also have a French mounted archer. I forgot to mention that. Telemnar's got for cavalry 1, 2, 3, 4 English knights and 1 hospitaller. Now some people don't like to use the English knights. Statistically they're not super great, but they do have an axe, which gives them an armor piercing trait, which is very useful, and they're pretty darn cheap. So they do give England quite a significantly useful cav option in conjunction with other English units. So, and in the hands of someone like Telemnar, these guys can be a very good unit to use indeed. So yeah, he's got them, and I don't know if he's a general's bodyguard. He probably does have a general's bodyguard somewhere. Then he's got, let's see, he's got some peasants, some heavy bill militia. Interesting choice in the base game. I wouldn't go with it myself, but you never know. He's got 3 of those, it seems. Well, no, 2 bill militia, heavy bill militia, and then 1 normal, 2 heavy billmen rather. Then he's got feudal knights that I can see, and I can't see anything else at the moment. Then the Turkish player, his name was PilaPis, I think. He commands the Turks. Obviously he's got 2 Sipahi lancers, a general's bodyguard, 4 Nafatoons, so we'd be very careful of those. 5 Janissary Heavy Infantry, 4 Saracen Militia, and then over here he's got 2 Alan Light Cav. Would be very careful of those as well. Very good little Light Cav unit, and Armenian Cavalry. And he showed some pretty good initiative at the start of this fight. So our battle plan's pretty straightforward. I was going to try and sort of kind of play a defensive role and keep Telemnar occupied while we sent a cav strike around and try and knock out the Turk player, because the Turkish infantry is not very strong, and if we can quickly take down the cavalry, get the Nefatoons, the infantry will collapse very, very quickly. So that's what we're going for here. So Swedes is going to rush, but the Turkish player was clever here. He goes straight in for a nice cav rush right away, as you can no doubt see. Basically we'll destroy that Croat axeman, but won't destroy the more important infantry units, so it's okay. And then Swedes is going to get a pretty good shock charge through here on this infantry, but it is this is more of a screen for these other units to come in as reserves and to give the Nefatoons more time. Swedes will push through, going for some cav strikes, as you can see, but he is going uphill, which puts me at a bit of a disadvantage. I am on my side using my pikemen to try and block his cav and act as a screen, and I'm bringing my cav around, as you can see. This battle's pretty quick. I don't really want to miss stuff. I'm bringing up my archers here because they're much quicker than my heavy cavalry to try and help Swedes, because if Swedes doesn't get a quick breakthrough, he's going to find himself in a lot of trouble with these Nefatoons. As you can see, his guys are already down to shaken, so we have to get rid of these Nefatoons quickly. He was going to engage up here. I told him to take the Chevrolet Knight unit and to go get the Nefatoons because there's an exposed gap here. But Telemnar is going to bring his general's bodyguard into screen, but I think Swedes is going to have time and he's going to get into these guys here. He just had the annoying trait where his guys didn't put their lance down. That would have utterly destroyed those Nefatoons instantly if they did. Sometimes they don't put it down. It's very annoying when that happens. On my flank, as you can see, my pikemen have managed to screen out some of Telemnar's guys very quickly. Up here, I'm charging into the centre up here, engaging quite quickly and supporting Swedes. At this stage, Swedes was actually looking reasonably okay for the cav fight, and he just killed the Turkish general, and I decided to support him here with my French mounted archers for a surround so he can quickly free himself up. And at this stage I see that I could be at risk of being hammered and anviled by Telemnar's cav, so I'm forced to bring back my cavalry. But fortunately we got a pretty decisive blow so far. Swedes has done well and these Turkish troops are routing. Once the Nefatoons were removed from the equation, or taken away from the major battle for a while, it was an easy win for Swedes' much superior infantry. So as you can see, these English troops, cav, come in now. Here comes where we get my counter strikes in on him. Now I've got better charging cav than him, so I should be able to do better on the charge, but I have better cav overall, but his armor piercing traits do give him an edge, and he does have one extra heavy cav than me because I had brought that horse archer cav, which I kind of ended up regretting. Here he got a better charge because my guys did not get their lance down in time, but overall if I were to get the better charges in, I would win for the most part. But he got some better charges in. Swedes is going to support here. As you can see, my infantry is engaged up through here, and I'm going to try and come round, but Telemnar is constantly blocking my approaches, and the cav fight's fairly even, but you have to remember I'm fighting one extra heavy cavalry unit over him, so he has got a slight cavalry advantage in his vicinity, but Swedes is around. Unfortunately my general just got killed. I think this might have been what he intended with his heavy bill militia, to support his cavalry, because they are very useful in in a fight like this where they're supporting heavy cavalry, because they are pretty good at taking off stationary cavalry. Over here, Swedes won his side pretty decisively now, so he's going to try and get around. Through the centre, our infantry's pretty even, going even with Telemnar. Let's see. But as you can see, my cav fights are still fairly even, but he's got infantry support in, and I've tried supporting with infantry, but probably a little bit late, and I'm overwhelmed by numbers here. So I'm trying to use some of these, free up some of my cav units and quickly single out loot units like this that are free to get some nice cav strikes in on them to try and free up, and give Swedes time to mop it up here, basically, because Telemnar's got the better of me at this fight because he got that cav edge, and usually when it comes to players like me and Telemnar, who are probably on a fairly similar level, he's a bit better than I am, whoever gets that cav edge fast is probably going to win in most scenarios, and he managed to get that cav edge because he had one extra heavy cavalry, and I was using my horse archer to help Swedes up top. But for the most part, I basically nullify his cavalry enough that it can't really influence the fight a whole lot. And I've still got one of my own cav free, because I'm trying to make sure we win the infantry fight unopposed. He gets a nice rear charge on my guys here, and they rout. It's pretty chaotic, to be honest, but Swedes has done a pretty good job of mopping up his side of the fight, which has enabled, as long as I keep Telemnar busy long enough with what cav units I have left and support Swedes, we should be okay to just wear them down. So here we can see some good cav strikes against each other, and we managed to kind of even that one out. As you can see, he's got his axe out there. That's why English Knights are quite dangerous. Here it brings in more infantry, so I'm going to try and disengage from this because I don't want to get bogged down in infantry fighting. And I'm using my horse archers to just get some quick rear charges and some attacks and support Swedes units that are around here. And I'm going to repeat more charges in over here, as you can see. So it's it was a very rapid battle that kind of declined and broke up pretty quickly, and it was hard to kind of manage everything. But basically we were trying to decisively knock the Turk player out, and we pretty much did that, although it cost a significant portion of my army in the process, but it was worth it to get that edge. And now we're just using our infantry and cav units just to smash the back open. Some of my guys have regrouped in places, as you can see, so I'm bringing them in to help, and we've managed to nullify that English cavalry, and I've still got two little cav bits left. Well, there's one little English knight left. But we've managed to nullify it for the most part, so I should be able to get some repeated cav strikes. However, just got bombed by his Nafatoons there, as you can see, killing off my cav. So I spotted that, and I'm just going to quickly go get rid of these little fellas. The key to our success here in this fight was that we very quickly neutralised his Nafatoons and took the Turkish cavalry out of the fight. Had we not neutralised his Nafatoons quickly, we would have mass routed. So it's very important that you get rid of them. And then we didn't have missile units to do it, so we had to be pretty aggressive about this to get ourselves out of a potential danger spot. As you can see, some of these Hungarian units are chasing off. I think Swedes did the lion's share of the work. I just did my bit to make sure Telemnar didn't wrap me up, because he got the advantage with that cavalry, and I just tried stalling him long enough for Swedes to get decisive on his side. And we were able to pull what we had left to defeat those last English units.
We must push our advantage.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. It was a very close game. Very intense, but the basic strategy was to knock that Turkish player out and make sure those Nafatoons could not be used very easily for them. Otherwise it would have been a pretty disastrous loss for us. So when you're facing against like the Turks or Egypt or something, and you've got like your opponent's got like 3 or 4 Nafatoons, you want to pretty quickly get rid of them. Only an average victory, 900 kills for Swedes and 316 captures. He did very, very well. I did less well, but I think I did my part. I was able to keep Telemnar busy. As you can see, he did pretty well as well. Nearly, he got 800 and then he got 182. So he did outclass me. His extra heavy cav unit did make that a bit tricky, but I think I still did the right move by using that horse archer to help Swedes win up there to get his decisive knockout, even if it cost me my cav fight. But it goes to show those English Knights are very, very good, because they're rather cheap, but they also have the armor piercing trait and some pretty good stats to boot. So overall it's a good unit, and in the hands of someone like Telemnar, it can make England a very, very dangerous faction indeed. If we look at the statistics here, as you can see, the cav fight was all pretty even all round, to be honest. Chivalric Knights, Feudal Knights, dismounted Feudal Knights, again all pretty even all round. These Chivalric Knights were okay. This French mounted archer 40 is not too bad. 34 captures. Yeah, it was helpful. It definitely helped Swedes win his upper fight there and support Swedes at the start to get that quick breakthrough. So it was useful, but it was a wee bit risky too, because it left me a bit weaker for that cav battle. But I've kind of figured, because I'm France, I have a wee bit stronger cavalry than England, so I can risk that, and it turned out alright in the end. But it was a bit risky as well. But anyway, really good game to everyone here. I'll link Swed's channel and Telemnar's channel, of course. And thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Please leave comments, tell me what you think, and I'll see you soon next time.